My background is in social and engineering systems. And so I exist in the space between industry theory and industry practice. And while it's my role to ensure that our clients become and remain future ready. And so today I'm going to be speaking a little bit about some of the major players in the marketing and advertising space. And while many of you may be familiar with Google's Bard, today we're going to be diving into a bit of a different area that is equally as groundbreaking, and that is Google's SGE product. So Google's new SGE product stands for their search generative experience. It offers an enhanced search functionality, which is not just smarter, but it is lightning quick, incredibly intuitive. There are a ton of new amplifications to their traditional search capabilities. It allows users to explore and generate content directly from the search bar itself, bringing a more interactive and dynamic experience. The platform can generate images, much like Joe was saying, which is not just finding and crafting the images themselves, a lot like DALL-E does. Which means that you can directly visualize and generate specific images based off of detailed queries and allows you to edit and customize those. It also aids in writing, which is a total game changer for any content creators out there. So it helps you provide different inquiries on drafts. It offers creative starting points and suggestions on different improvements. And Google is taking a bunch of steps this time to enforce some of those ethical AI uses and practices. So actually encoding different metadata so that there is more protection around some of the things that he was just speaking about around copyright rules and not allowing to necessarily take proprietary content from different artists and whatnot, and using those types of amalgamations. And so a couple of different areas where they're specifically helping within the search product in and of itself. And Joe, speaking of your Alexa briefing, I am an Alexa power user and I live by the morning flash briefing, so I'm going to expect that functionality very quickly. So shifting from SGE really quickly, moving more into something else that Google's been working on, and that would be Google Gemini. So while SGE excels in one domain, Gemini is definitely broadening the horizon, ushering a new era of content comprehension and creation. So at its heart is summarization, which cuts down on the vast content into more digestible chunks. It's revolutionizing different translations by converting text into images and 3D models. It can, with its different generation settings, it's setting this new content creation benchmarks, and with its reasoning capabilities, it's much like having more of an analytical companion by your side. What truly is going to be able to set Gemini apart, though, is not that it's merely scraping the web, right? It's not merely just scraping the web and yielding some type of amalgamation of content, bits of content and elements that have already existed and trying to create and craft something slightly new and slightly original based off of this blend of pre-existing elements. It actually possesses the ability to craft entirely new, unique pieces and arts of bodies of work. And so that is what is really groundbreaking in this. Its basic logical reasoning is Gemini's most remarkable and arguably its most interesting capability that it has. It definitely synthesizes information from an assortment of different types of data and assignments, and to be able to deduce those into conclusions that we are able to easily comprehend from any type of different ad product or a creative product, or the idea that we are now moving into models that can think and act on their own, not just based off of content that currently exists. This is where Google is headed, and we'll likely start to see areas where they are actively working, areas within search and SGE will be then amplified greater by this body of work within Gemini. And this is what's coming within the next year. It's heavily in beta today, but it's definitely on the horizon. Now, what's interesting is that you probably more than likely were considering that we would be moving into Meta very quickly, and Meta is doing what Meta is going to do, but we really do need to talk about Microsoft. And when we think about Microsoft, search may not be the first thing that comes to our minds, and that's because Microsoft, unlike some other tech giants, they don't necessarily have search as their primary mainstay, right? They have a diversified portfolio and allows this company to have a unique vantage point. Their legacy spans wide across many products and services. They have operating systems like Windows and productivity tools. They are in the gaming space with Xbox and cloud services through Azure and professional networks on LinkedIn. And this gives them the opportunity to experiment and play and iterate at scale in ways that other organizations are not able to. They have partnerships with OpenAI, and they can play and are very malleable in different ways. They are making wide sweeping promises today that Google is not necessarily making in the same capacity. They promise intelligent ad placement, ensuring that ads are spot on, exactly targeted to your very specific audience. They are promising more enhanced user experiences that will allegedly have really impeccable user engagement, creative content generating, the list goes on. And they're able to say that they're going to be able to do these things and bring these things within the next 24 months because they're able to test in so many different scenarios against so many different audiences. A couple of different products specifically within the ad space. The one that I think is most compelling in the very near future would be the ad specifically within Bing. They're compare and decide ad set very specifically within Bing Chat. And so what you start to see are these new introduced conversational ads. And they have a really interesting compare and decide ad, which greatly impacts that consideration phase. So as the user is chatting in Bing with this box, you're able to have a nice chat log, which has SEO capabilities, because then you can take and cipher these pieces of what these chat logs are saying and spin up SEO content. So you're hitting multiple different facets of your user's journey. But then within the ad itself, the user is able to directly compare different products against one another. So you are now in this new research element phase where, as the consumer is cycling through their own mind map and considering their own competitive peers, you are able now to line those up one by one in the ad in itself while they're in this chat experience that you are also custom curating for them. And so being able to understand the integration of these new ad formats within the Bing Chat experience itself is helping to ensure this more natural user-centric interaction. And it also helps Microsoft's real commitment to evolving the advertising methods and better serve, engage their users. Another area that they've been moving into more and more is working inside Snapchat. Snapchat has a super engaged user base, super engaged user base. And as they find their partnership within gaming and with Xbox, they notice this natural synergy between Snapchat and that Xbox community, which also has a very wide ad platform within there. Because they also have a correlation between Twitch and Xbox and Snapchat. So between their ability to see these relationships and now deploying AI through all of them, they are able to monetize within this sector as well. So you're able to understand, hey, we already have 150 million people that are working within our AI chatbot. User has conversations within this AI chat. As they're having these conversations with the AI chat, Bing is now returning results in an ad format based off of what the original query is. So these are very recent stats. These came out last month. And it's something that is a very recent rollout within the last few months, and something that they're continuing to monitor, but it has a really great return so far. Users seem very engaged with it, and it is something that we are certainly tracking and keeping an eye on. I would say that, how should we be considering utilizing AI and these products in our world today? And Connor mentioned robots, right? And I frequently see this misconception out there that the robots are going to do it, like turn on the AI, release the Kraken, and creating an AI strategy is just this set it and forget it exercise. And to reframe that a bit, I do want to talk just briefly about our favorite 13th element, which is aluminum. And it's interesting because when aluminum was first discovered, it was actually thought to be this super rare commodity, like so rare, in fact, that it was actually featured on the French crown jewels. And then, of course, frequently after, we recognize that it was one of the most abundant elements on the face of the planet. And now it's in absolutely everything. And so, you know, from bottling companies to smartphones to aerospace, we use it all over the place, right? And the point is that you don't walk into your strategy room and say, what is our aluminum strategy? You're going to walk in there and you're going to say, what is our business strategy? And how are we going to look to utilize aluminum to move that strategy forward? How are we going to look at aluminum to amplify our growth? And so as you walk away and look into these new ad products and look into how you can infuse AI into your marketing and advertising strategies, I would implore you to consider it as this new and really powerful and potent new ingredient for the next, 2 years as we advance these different types of methodologies. And with that